Hello, this video is going to guide us through the new drugs update on Herdap in December 2020. This video relates to version 1.33. So if you want to see what version you have, you go into Herdap, the little I on the bottom right hand corner, it'll tell you the version on the bottom, and you just make sure that you're on version 1.33. Go into the relevant app store to get the latest update if you don't have it. It's important that you have that because there's always updates for Herdap, so it's important to get that. So if we go into drugs dry, and if we go into the new drug dry button, you'll see that there's four options here, and each explains with the little icons what it does. But if I tap the little I on the top right hand corner, it'll give me a breakdown of what each button does, and you can read this yourself. Just to quickly go through them, the top option, the first one, is to treat animals. Nothing to do with drying off. It's what it says is use this area if you prefer not to record your drug purchases. So this will treat animals, but you're not linking to your drug cabinet. So printed drug purchases from your vet are accepted during an inspection. So you have to make sure that you've got good records of your drug purchases if you're using that section. The second one is to dry off with drugs or a sealer. So the top option doesn't dry off animals, it's only for administering drugs. So if you're doing anything to do with dry off, it's not the top option, it'll be some of the other options. So the second one is, as it says, for drying off cows as well as recording dry cow tubes and or teat sealers. And again, you're not linking to your drug purchases, your drug cabinet, if you're using that option. I'm going to skip to the bottom option, which is to dry off without drugs. And you'll see there, it's just if you prefer to just record the dry dates without recording any dry cow tubes or teat sealers. The third option is the one we want to go through really, and that's, as it says, if you prefer to match drug purchases with drug usage. The tip here is that there's a very useful past picks option when picking animals that is ideal for giving more than one drug to the same group of animals, and we'll show that in a few minutes. I'm just going to quickly go through the top option, which is to treat animals. And so what you can do here is you can come in here, you can pick the drug you want to give. You can say, I'm giving so much of it. I'm on a demo herd here, so the drugs are not great that's in there, but we'll go ahead. So I'm going to use that drug. If I want, I can give a second drug on the same date. And again, remember, I'm not linking this to my cabinet, so I'm just saying I'm given a particular drug. So I'll give this one, and I'll give two of this, and I'll use now. So you see there's a couple of drugs there. On the date picker, I can go for today, or if I want, I can tap the date, and I can pick whichever I want. And what you do is select your year, your month, and then the date. Once you pick the date goes into the box. So the date's always the last thing you do. So I go for whatever date I want, and then I come down to pick animals and save. When I'm picking animals, I can do it a few ways. I can tap the boxes if I want. I'll clear those. I can go to one by one, and I can type in the animal numbers. Again, your animals will be correct. So if I go find, it'll pick the animal for me once it's there, and I can keep adding as many as I want. And when I come out of that, the animals will be picked here. I'll clear again. I can go pick group, which is very good. So in other words, I can use any of the loads of filters here. So say if I wanted to pick all the females, I can go filter on the sex, and it'll give me all the females, and they're all picked. And again, I can untick some of those if I don't want some of them, or I can clear them. The past picks option is great on any of the screens. So if I come into past picks, I can pick a drug that I gave in the past. All right, and I'll show that again in a minute. So once I pick my animals and save, that'll be saved. So that is I'm not going to save that. That's the top option, which is just to treat. The second option is to dry off with drugs sealer. So again, if I come in here, I'm not linking to my cabinet, so I'm just picking the drug. So if I want to go with my Kepprovin, and I'm going to give them that, I'm going to use that now. So there, again, I can add another drug if I want now, but if I just want to add the one, I'm going to go today. And notice when I come in here, because we've selected the dry off option, that I get more options to do with dry cows. So again, I can go for all that's due to dry off, or I can go for my past picks again, so I can pick something that got something before, or again, I can go one by one if I want. You'll notice the little scan is there, so I can scan the cards if I want. If you have the cards in your hand, you can scan those. That's on the new update as well. But when I pick my animals and I save, that will save the drug that I'm given, but it'll also save the dry off event. So the dry off event is separate to any drug that you give. So that's why you'll see on this screen here, you have to go for the option that you want. If you're only treating animals, you go at the top. If you want to dry off, you go for the second. And those two options are not linking to the cabinet. So the third option here is the one that links your drug usage with your drug purchase. So if you want to put in your purchases and you want to link that, then that's what you do here. So I can come in here and it shows me in my cabinet. Again, this is a demo herd, so there's not much here, but I can come in here and I can say, okay, I'm going to select this Kepprovin that I bought. And you'll see the two buttons here on the left are to treat or dry. If I want to dry, I have to go for dry, because if I only treat, it's only treating. If I go dry, it'll save the dry off event as well. So again, I'm going to click dry. I'm going to say I dried it. You see my Kepprovins at the top, and it's out of that purchase. So I'm going to say today, and I'm going to put in a few details, and I'm going to pick animals and save. Again, because it knows I'm drying off, it's giving me dry off options. So I'm just going to go for all due. So they're all due. Again, you can use the buttons at the top to do some different variations on that. So I'm going to save all that's due, and I'm going to save. And when I save, it comes back to this screen, because it's going to ask me, what do I want to do? Do I want to do some more? So I'm going to give another drug out of my cabinet. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, okay, I've dried them off, but I also want to give them some Betamax, so I'm going to go for that. Now, in this case, because they're dry, I'm just going to treat them. So I'm going to treat them, and I'm going to do it today, and I'm going to give them, say, 10 of this. And once I pick animals and save, I don't need to pick them all again. I just go to past picks, and I say, give me the last batch that got the Kepprovin. So I tap on that. It selects them for me, and I go save. And if I want to give them something else, I just come back in here. I pick my next drug. I'm just going to treat them again. I'm going to treat them today again, and I'm just going to give them 2 of that and save. And then again, I'm just going to go for my past picks, and I'm going to say, give me the last batch again that got the Kepprovin. And when I tap that, it picks them for me again, and I'm going to save that. So it's very quick to give multiple drugs out of the cabinet. And if I come back then, there's all I'm after doing. So the top shows you that I dried them off, because I dried them off with the Kepprovin in the first case, and then I gave them the other drugs as well, and it's all recorded there. If I want to go in and see what got them, I tap here and it shows me that everything that's done. So that'll give you an overview of how the new drugs work in the latest update. If you have any questions, you can always use the little just ask button on the bottom. So come in here and fill in your question and send your question to us. The good thing about doing that is it identifies you with us, and it comes straight into our support system, so we'll see it straight away, and we also know who you are. So if you want to put your name on that and ask for a call, you can do that. And also the little YouTube button is at the bottom. So send us any questions if you need any help. And okay, thank you very much.